Joseph, welcome to the Coffee Pod. My name is Chisha Zed.
Drink the coffee, it'll make you feel better.
Every father loves that moment where he sees his son improve in life, progress in life, graduate. In this video, we have a good father who wanted to gift his son with his presence at his graduation, but was immediately and selfishly kept from seeing his child by his bitter baby mom. Now, the good news about this particular video is that it actually has a really, really good ending. But that still won't justify what this father had to endure by this bitter baby mama. And luckily for him, it was caught on camera. We're going to talk about this situation and custody and a few other topics in regards to dealing with fathers being kept from seeing their children. By the way, guys, I have this father's TikTok in the description of this video. So if you want to go show him some encouragement and give him a word of support, check out his TikTok in the description. Let's get it.
I do got rights. No, it's all right, son. The world needs to see how she act because she crazy. I just came to see my son graduate and give him a gift. That's all I did. You didn't make him by yourself, sweetie. And you ain't raised him by yourself. You know how much money I spend on my son?
So now she's talking about prosecutors going to lock you up. I already called him. Now notice how this bitter baby mama has no care in the world, whether there's a camera recording whatever she does. I mean, this is the shit that men talk about when they discuss just how much the courts favor women. And the women know this. Should vindictive mothers be able to get away with this? I don't think so. And the sad things that happens all the time. Let's keep listening.
What prosecutor? I'm done playing with you.
Is the son crying?
Man, look, I bought my son a gift for graduation. And look how she acted. Got my son crying because he wanted to see me.
I thought I heard that.
But this how bipolar people act. I don't know what's wrong with it.
Guys, think of the mind of a child. You don't have the mental capacity, the emotional regulation to be able to properly process all this in a healthy way. All this right now is just trauma building right before our eyes. Who suffers the most in these type of situations? It's the child. Be careful, protect your seed, be careful who you choose to have children with. Let's keep listening.
Then she ain't tell nobody about the graduation and she mad I found out.
Wow. So she tried to hide the actual graduation just because while the other group is complaining that the father of that child is not showing up, never shows up, never does anything, you have the other group of chicks who cannot be grateful for a man who wants to be present. Just crazy.
But it's cool. Talking about she got a prosecutor about to lock me up for what? For taking care of my son? Jacob, just stay praying, all right, bro? Love you too, man.
Wow.
Stay praying. Stay prayed up, son.
I love you, Dad. I love you, Dad.
It's gonna be all right. Stay prayed up, man. I love you.
Yeah, that son loves his father. He's waving, he's engaged, he's crying. This is obviously a bitter woman, a very, very, very bitter woman.
I already got you acting crazy. That's a mess, man. Mad because I can't see my son graduate.
All right, guys, that was the video. I'm curious to know what you think. Of course, comment down below. Let's check out some of these comments. And we're going to listen to a couple of attorneys that give different takes on the topic of mothers withholding the right for a father to see their child and steps that people can take depending on their respective state. First comment here comes from a woman. She says, bitter baby mama, grow up. So we got a chick here who's like, yo, I know a bitter baby mama when I see one. Here's somebody else who says, I love you, dad. Quoting the son before he got rushed away in the car. Goes on to say, said everything. Keep showing up. It's not going unnoticed by your son. He's definitely praying. When that son looked at his father and said, I love you, dad, I knew that he had established enough of a relationship for his son to recognize him as a good influence in his life, who he appreciated and wanted to be a part of. Because we see some of these videos sometimes and the kids are quiet. And that doesn't necessarily mean that that father is bad, but this is one of the first and only times I have seen a child speak out in this way on video. Somebody else here added, I'm about to cry. God restore this baby's relationship with his father and remove anything that stands in the way of it. Amen. This gentleman says her son gonna remember this and she'll regret this, man. Sorry you and your son are going through this. This don't get talked about enough. Then you have to worry about your mental. Be strong. Be strong. And I just want to take some time to encourage that man, the father, to be strong. Be strong. And any man who's going through this right now currently, hang in there, man. There is a comfort in knowing that there are other men who are also going through the same thing that you are. I'd say one of the best things about YouTube is it provides conversations where people can talk about specifically these type of topics. And they're trying to shut these platforms down. Let's just be plain and honest. It's just crazy to think that men who come together talk about the struggles they go through, whether it's dating, relationships, marriage, custody battles, divorce. They want those platforms gone. For what? I personally think we need more communities for men. If you want to join a support group of men, this is specific to men who are dealing with these type of problems, who need advice from other men who are dealing with family court issues, divorce recovery. You can access that support by clicking the link pinned to the top of the comment section, which will take you over to fathershaverights.com, and you have the opportunity to get on the waiting list for that community. Again, you can click the link pinned to the comment section or head over to fathershaverights.com and enter your information to get on the waiting list for that support group for men. And in addition to the support, you also get access to invaluable information to help you not make mistakes and live a more peaceful life while dealing with these type of issues. As we go on, we'll find out more about this particular situation. But after watching this whole video and how traumatic that was for the child, I was curious to know, what are a father's options in this situation? And so I stumbled on a couple of attorneys' videos here that I'm going to play. The first video comes from Joint Custody Advocates on YouTube, and you can definitely search that. I will also have the link to the full video in the description. Again, this is coming from Joint Custody Advocates, and the question he's asking is, can a mother legally keep a child from the father? No more wasting time. Let's get it.
Can a mother legally keep a child from a father? Hey everyone, my name is Robert Buchanan. JointCustodyAdvocates.com is the website. I'm an attorney in Illinois. First off, are you the legal father? Are you? Did you sign the voluntary acknowledgement of paternity? Has a court adjudicated you the father? So in order to be the father, you have to be. It's not just that you're on the birth certificate, but that you signed the voluntary acknowledgement of paternity, or that you were adjudicated the father, or that the child was born during the marriage or shortly before or after. It gets a bit more technical, but that makes you the presumed father. So you have to legally be the father.
That's interesting. You have to legally be the father. Another thing I thought about were all those cheating stories where a woman would cheat while she's married. That child legally becomes that man's or husband's responsibility. I think that's probably one of the craziest situations men are in right now, where they're actually paying child support for those kids. If they weren't able to get the actual guy who was busting the cheeks while she was cheating, to actually claim legal responsibility. Let's keep listening.
If you are legally the father, what can you do if this happens? You can call the police. They might meet you over at mom's house. Mom doesn't have any legal obligation to even come out of the house, but if she does, the police will probably engage her.
Calling the police just seems like something that's just not going to work.
And ask her what's going on. And at that point, you are opening a can of worms, because who knows what she's going to say. Most likely what the police are going to do, even if she doesn't say that sort of stuff, is they're going to try to broker some sort of solution and see what the issue is. And if she is not willing to give over the child, they're going to tell you that this is a matter of custody court or civil court, and that you should file a case to make something happen. So let's assume that you already did file a custody case, and that you have a custody judgment, and that it is your parenting time.
That's what I want to know about. If you actually do have responsibility and that is your time to be with your child, do women who do this, do the bitter baby mamas who do this face consequences?
They cannot arrest mom, although they will probably put some real pressure on mom and say, listen, this is a court order. You're court ordered to turn over this child, or it's dad's parenting time. If mom knows her rights, she just might say, you know what? No, I'm not giving this child over for such and such reason. Maybe she says, well, I'm worried that dad is going to harm the children because he just did harm the children. And at that point, the police might give her the advice.
So lying. She might lie.
To go file an order of protection, might tell you that it's a civil court matter, and they're going to not do anything about it. So calling the police is probably not going to be the most effective manner of resolving this issue, because police aren't, at the end of the day, trained social workers, nor is that their role. They're not going to work to mediate an agreement. They're not going to arrest any party for doing this, unless there is already an active order of protection, of course.
All right, so calling the police does not seem like the most effective approach to dealing with this type of a situation. Now, I'm sure if those kids were in danger, that probably would present a different type of situation. Somebody else here added, in today's episode of Bitter Baby Mama Graduation Edition, he'll grow up to go to no contact with her, and she'll have the audacity to wonder why. Kids over emotions. Kids over emotions. And there are a lot of young men today in that position who get older and they look back and they're like, wow, you kept me from seeing my father. And you know what's the most insane part of that particular situation is that's probably the minority. What do I mean by that? The majority probably believe a lot of those lies until they go through that same exact experience and think, is this what my father was going through? Is this what he had to deal with? It doesn't have to necessarily be some bitter baby mom, but you end up realizing that women, guess what? They don't drink coffee.
Put that coffee down.
Now, modern women in specific, but more than just the coffee. And there are women who drink coffee here on the Coffee Pod. I'm being funny. But I was curious, how can men fight back? How can men who have the right to their child fight back? And I stumbled on a second attorney by the name of Terri Herron Law. She talks about how you can fight back if you're in this situation, specifically for people who live in the state of Georgia. Let's listen.
Hi guys, this is attorney Terri S. Herron. You're a divorce and family law attorney here in the state of Georgia. I get a lot of questions asking, what do I do if I have a parenting plan and the other person is not following the parenting plan? Well, here's what we do. So we can actually file a contempt action, because if you have an order of parenting time that is signed by a judge here in the state of Georgia, then what we can do is we can actually file with the court, letting the judge know that the other person has not followed the parenting plan.
Now we're serving some coffee.
Drink the coffee, it'll make you feel better.
Is there jail time with this? What's up? Now we're serving some coffee. By the way, I'll have the link to her full video so you guys can check out the full video on her actual YouTube page in the description of this video. Let's keep listening.
This is very important that you actually have an order in place. Now, if you don't have an order in place, then that person is not in contempt. And if your parenting plan doesn't say that you get the first, third, and fifth, or whatever weekends you're trying to say that that person hasn't allowed you visitation, then that person is not in contempt. With a contempt action, very specifically, you are able to go to your parenting plan and say, here are my weekends, and here's the time that the person has not allowed me to see the children. And they need to be the same weekends.
I'd also want to encourage everyone to keep in mind that laws vary depending on the state. So she's particularly talking about the state of Georgia. Now, I have noticed that there are general best practices for a lot of states that are very similar. But just keep that in mind. Let's keep listening.
Now, if for whatever reason your work schedule has changed and now you need to do the second and fourth weekends, well, that person is not in violation if your weekends are the first, third, and fifth weekends. If your schedule has changed and you need to go back to court and modify your parenting plan.
All right. So I'm not hearing enough about consequences. I'm not hearing enough about consequences, and that doesn't sit right with me. If a man wants to not pay child support, he's going to jail. Where are the consequences for alienation, for keeping your children from seeing the father, who's very important? What are the consequences? And we have Terri Herron here again. Let's check it out.
So let's get back to the contempt action. What is it that we can do when it comes to a contempt action? What can we ask the judge for? Well, first of all, we can ask the judge to hold the
jail time immediately, go to jail, do not pass go, do not collect 200.
Drink the coffee, it'll make you feel better.
Let's keep listening.
person in contempt and willful contempt, saying that this person has not complied with the court's order. Secondly, what we can do is we can ask for makeup time. So if you've missed 3 weekends or maybe you missed a spring break, then you can ask for that spring break back.
Okay.
Well, it may not be that exact spring break, but we'll take that number of days and we can apply it somewhere else where maybe you only got 4 weeks in the summer.
Okay.
So maybe we can put that 1 week on the back of your summer parenting plan, okay? And then also, what else can we ask for? Well, we definitely can ask for a reimbursement.
Oh, is that reimbursement? Because that I hear the topic of money coming up. The whole time I'm thinking, this all costs money. This all costs money. He's coming out for attorney's fees just for her being in contempt. What can we do about those fees? Let's keep listening.
Reimbursement of attorney's fees. I mean, you wouldn't have to file a contempt action with the court and hire an attorney to do that had this person not been in contempt.
Right.
So we can definitely ask the judge to assess attorney's fees so that you can be reimbursed. And that is discretionary. So sometimes you'll find
discretionary. Leaving room for his sympathy and not holding the chicks accountable. Discretionary. I don't like the sound of that.
a judge that will give you all of your attorney's fees back. Sometimes the judge will give you a portion of your attorney's fees back. Now, is there a chance that the judge will say no to attorney's fees? There is a chance. Attorney's fees is discretionary, but more than likely, if this person is found in contempt, you will get reimbursed attorney's fees.
Okay. Okay, more than likely. I just think of the guys who the judge is told no to when it comes to reimbursement on those attorney's fees. That's horrible. Somebody else here says she wanted him to think you don't care. Again, this woman says she wanted him to think you don't care. Him showing up was against the narrative that she tries to feed that young man. And you might say, well, Chisha, how do you know she's feeding? There's no way a woman who's capable of doing this, stopping her father from seeing his son at the graduation, is taking that son home and going, now, you know your father's a good man, right? He's a good man. You don't have to worry about him. No, she did that because she believes something about him. And based on how she's acting, she doesn't have the maturity to keep those things to herself and not brainwash her son and negatively impact his progression from a young boy to a respectable man. She goes on to say, but you showed up and he sure see you do care. He's not going to forget that. He's not going to forget that. Somebody else here says, you showed up, man. That's what's important. You were present. Somebody else here added, he said, I love you, Dad. 10K likes on that comment. Here's another woman that says, keep showing up. The children see, praying for you, her peace, and that baby. Here's another comment from another woman that says, this just broke my heart. Somebody else here says, I'm sitting here bawling my eyes out. That child said, I love you, Dad. He will never forget you no matter how hard she try. Here's somebody else who says, honestly, if there are no court orders in place, you both have a right to have them. She goes on to say he can live with you as well. I'm sorry your son is going through this with the crying emojis. Another woman added on and said, you know what? Absolutely. I have an older sister I met at 24. Her dad picked her up for a visit and never returned. Huh. Interesting. Goes on to say, mom tried getting help and was told there was no custody agreement, so they wouldn't look for him. Huh. That's crazy. Personally, I'm not qualified to give anybody advice on how they should pursue a situation like this legally. So I'd advise anybody to go get legal advice when it comes to how to deal with that. The other chick responding says, that's exactly right. They say without a custody agreement, they both have rights. Thank you for your response. And the final comment says, yep, happened to my brother. Our dad took him to Atlanta and then to Florida. Nothing that's worth noting that I've seen many attorneys talk about consistently is how much power there is in just being with somebody whose mind is right. You know, you're out here busting cheeks, sleeping with this chick, not caring, you know, you're just focused on the sex. Oh, but Shisha, women can change. Yeah, I know they can change, bro. Let's be honest. There are a lot of dudes out here, and I have to say this because this could save a guy. There are a lot of dudes out here who are just dating, just going through life without a care in the world, thinking, oh, there's no way I'm going to get that chick pregnant. Yeah, she took a plan B. A lot of people don't know plan Bs don't work. If she is ovulating, yes.
Drink the coffee, it'll make you feel better.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you learned something new. There are a lot of dudes out here who don't have any standards with the type of chicks that they would sleep with. I went to boarding school for 4 years. I remember we had a dean who used to say to the guys in the boys' dorm, he'd say, listen, you've got two heads. Make sure you're thinking with the right one. A lot of men think with the wrong head too many times. You end up being permanently tied to some crazy woman. And I'm getting somewhere here because they said, hey, the best thing you can do is resolve things amicably with the person who you're with. But in order for them to do that, the chick would have to drink coffee. She would have to drink coffee because coffee helps the mind. Most of these chicks are out of their mind and avoiding the solution to the problem. Be careful. Be careful. Finally, we have our last video here of him giving the turnout of just how everything played out. This was the update, and I'm also going to have his information in the description, so make sure you go check him out as well. No more wasting time. Let's check it out.
What's good, TikTok?
What's up?
Update about Jacob. I get my son this Friday, so that's good news. I'm a little geeked about it. I appreciate everybody that was praying for me. I even appreciate the haters because y'all pushed the video, kind of helped me out a little bit. Appreciate y'all.
He says, shout out to the haters. I feel you, bro.
Yeah, she can't withhold my son. She has no reason to. She's acting like that because who knows? She has no reason. We had a clean breakup. We actually was married. We had a clean divorce, which was in I don't know, 2013. I've been getting my son every weekend, the whole summer. We alternate holidays, you know, besides Christmas, because she wanted to open gifts with him. But yeah, I don't know what changed. It just changed this year. She just had a different, I don't know, aspect of life. I don't know. But yeah, appreciate y'all, man. Appreciate everybody that was praying. I appreciate y'all. Yeah. Thank y'all.
All right. That is good news. That is really good news. Let's check out some of these comments. First comment here says, glad to hear it, bro. Somebody else here added, God bless you and your son. We support you and we are here for you. And our final comment here says, you're a good man. Listen, guys, as always, I'm curious to know, what do you think? Leave your comments down below. I appreciate you as always for checking out yet another episode of the Coffee Pod. Till next time, I'm out. Peace.